Zion was #1 pick this year.
By the way, I gave everyone the over in that game yesterday. I hope they
Yes, you
they
did.
listened.
That was a big fat winner.
You handed that one out. That one you cashed
140.
early, too, because that was a matinee game. So
Yeah.
you hit that early, and then you're like, oh, look at all this money in my account.
Oh, I mean,
I'm going
they-
to dabble with the later games.
I mean, they went monkey poo in the first quarter. I think it was
Yeah.
49-39 first quarter. So they already had 88 points.
right.
and
You know
just
you're
had to
sailing.
Right. You
Yeah.
just had to get to the low 230s. Now,
Right.
230s is a big number, but not when two teams can't stop each other.
Right.
And the final was 140 to 125. A former Washington. Oh no, actually, I always get confused. That's not Bobo Drano. That's the
No,
other Bogdanovich.
it's the other Bobo. But I
Yeah.
call him Bobo Drano, too.
Right.
Because he was doing that
Sports
yesterday.
35.
Yeah,
Because
he had
right,
6
Bobo
threes.
Drano, the former Wizard, I think is with the Pacers. Is he with the Pacers?
Pacers.
Jazz, right?
No, he's with the
yeah,
Jazz
that's right,
now.
He's with
Jazz,
the Jazz.
yeah.
He's bounced around a little bit. Anyway, Zion is one of the biggest stories in the NBA. #1 pick, was a phenom at Duke, dunking machine. Hasn't played a ton this year because of injuries. And Drab sent us this article, and it is interesting to think about, where a doctor said he's in a race against his own body.
Oh.
Feels like ultimately he's going to break down, and based on what he's seeing right now, he says, in my opinion, this is Dr. Sutterer, says his athleticism and conditioning have regressed substantially. He's less explosive, less conditioned, slower on defense, has already had a portion of his meniscus removed from his knee after an injury, and he's still under close monitoring from the medical staff. Are you worried that Zion is going to be a flash in the pan when he's on the court, even last night, 22 minutes, 24 points. He's uber productive.
Yeah. I mean, that was a pickup game yesterday. It just was. I would be concerned, yes, because I told you that that's the one thing I noticed when he came back is how big he looked. And I don't know what his weight is. He looked like he was 320 pounds. I know he's not 320. He's got to be pretty close. But I would be worried if I was the Pellies just because of the conditioning. And if he breaks down again, it's obviously harder to lose the weight when you're hurt. And this is a different year because, they weren't playing in the summer. If he was playing this summer, he would look a lot different. But he's just got this different body. I'm not so sure he can change it. I don't know what else he can do. I mean, he's just got that body type where he's got that huge lower half, and he puts a lot of strain on it because of how much he weighs. I would be concerned, yes. I don't know if he's going to have the 14, 15-year career at a Hall of Fame level that a lot of people thought.
Well, if I'm in his camp, I'm going to hire the best nutritionist that I can find, and I'm going to have that guy. He's making every single meal for him, and he's not eating anything outside of what I'm recommending. Because,
can you imagine what he can eat? He could probably sit down and eat an entire fridge.
But I don't know what his eating habits are, but if I'm in his camp, if I'm one of his advisors, I'm going to say, look, we want you to have the longest career possible. The best way to do that is through fitness and nutrition, and you may not like it, but you're going to eat exactly what we tell you to eat when we tell you to eat it, and it's going to extend your career by probably 3 to 5 years. Because if you don't get on that plan,
you're telling me he doesn't have a nutritionist?
I don't know. I don't know if
he's got to.
I mean, if they monitor him so. They're all over
they've
him.
got to.
I don't know what's going on. I think he just has one of those bodies because he came into the bubble. When he showed up, everyone was talking about how ripped Zion was. There were all these photos floating around. And then he left the bubble.
He went home for 12 days?
And he came back 30 pounds heavier.
Yeah. He was eating that good food down there in South Carolina.
I'm cooking.
Started eating some bread and some carbs.
Oh,
here's
so
the thing.
Bread. I love
he
bread.
is definitely in a race against his body because this is his prime. He's 20 years old.
Yeah.
So you buy into this doctor. Because I'm not totally going to buy into it because, look, my favorite player of all time, you guys know it, is Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley lost a lot of weight, sure, but he was still kind of big throughout his career, and he had a long career.
Not this big. Not even close.
Look at pictures of Charles Barkley in, 1990.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Not even close to what Zion looks like.
Right. He looks practically skinny next to Zion if you did a side-by-side photo.
Yeah. And then who knows what's going to happen in the offseason because the Pellies will be out soon. What, they got, 3 games left? They'll be done, and then what's he going to do? What's he going to do the rest? When are they going to start the next season?
You might kill me for this comparison, and I know he was more muscular, but Karl Malone was a big dude. Now Karl Malone a little taller, but I bet you Karl Malone's weight,
he was ripped throughout his career. Nobody questioned his.
Okay, but people are
fitness.
questioning whether Zion's going to be able to handle the pounding on his knees. Karl Malone did.
When Zion comes into camp looking like Karl Malone in his prime, alert me. Let me know when that happens.
They couldn't have more different bodies.
Yeah, Carl.
Let me know when he comes in chiseled.
But JP, Zion's calling card is his athleticism. That's going to go as he gets older.
JP.
Well, this doctor right now, the quote that, if you look at the quotes, this doctor's grilling the guy's conditioning right now and saying he looks slow and all this stuff. He's still putting up
that's how good he is. That's how good he is.
Still putting up a point a minute. He was 10 for 12 from the field for 25 points in 22 minutes.
JP, that's not the point.
The point is he can only play 22 minutes. He's a big fatty.
The doctor is saying
they're doing a shutdown like they did with Strauss.
The doctor is saying going forward he is worried about it. You absolutely have to be concerned.
I think you can be worried.
He's got the biggest badonkadonk in the history of the NBA. No one has had a badonkadonk bigger than that. I'm willing to say that.
I think you should save that term for women, but that's okay.
JP, think about it. Why are they limiting his minutes?
Again, I think they're taking a very conservative approach.
But that doesn't make
It's basically like the Strasburg shutdown.
Why? Because he was playing full minutes beforehand.
They're limiting his minutes because he left the bubble and he came back 25 or 30 pounds heavier. That's why.
They already ramped him up earlier in the season.
They're also worried about the knee, Draven.
Well, I know. So something's going on. Something's not 100% with Zion. Either it's his body or his knee.
You know, he definitely walks and runs funny too.
He definitely
he's got a weird gait.
Yeah, it's strange. But he can get off the floor when he's in shape.
He certainly can.